2 weeks ago, a school told me my child couldn't come back. And all it took was three specific behavior changes that completely changed him and regulated his system, his nervous system, everything. Now it's like I have a completely different child. And like I said, I only teach about three things that will majorly impact my child. So, first of all, the first thing we immediately changed was we removed TV completely. And completely. There's not even a TV in my living room anymore because every time the TV was out, it was a fight of, Mommy, can I watch this? Mommy, can I watch that? And we put it away. We got rid of it. We said there's no more TV. And we tried to explain to him that it wasn't good for him. And it was a tough first week, but it has gotten so much better. We noticed that my children play, him specifically. He's playing creatively. He is playing engaged. My child is not a child that focuses easily, or at least he wasn't when there was TV around. Now my child can play for an hour independently. That is just, it's crazy to me to be able to say that. I'm so glad that we did that. At no point, I honestly was a little worried about myself because I was like, oh my God, I rely on this TV for the tough days. I did, okay? I'm a stay-at-home mom who doesn't really have, my husband goes to work and I don't have any support, any help watching them. So if I'm feeling bad during the day or if I need a break, no one's coming to help. The TV was unfortunately, my nanny. And I was worried that once I didn't have it, that I would just struggle really hard. The opposite happened. My child specifically became easier to deal with. And now, instead of needing a nanny, I can count on him to, and not always, of course, but I can count on him a lot more to become engaged in reading and looking through books and playing with his toys and doing something creative, building a fort, whatever it might be. I can feel more comfortable knowing that he will do that as opposed to when he had access to TV because his brain was so conditioned to need constant stimulation that he constantly needed a TV show on or attention from me, and a toy couldn't cut it. Why would a toy cut it when he's used to boom, boom, constant dopamine hits from the TV? That doesn't make any sense. So first of all, that was one of the biggest changes that I saw. And I know that everybody says that TV is not great for the kids. Look, I can't tell you as a parent what to do, but me as my child, especially with a child that has ADHD, I've seen a huge difference. So I just want you to know that, okay? That doesn't mean I think people who used to be are bad parents. It's just not the way it is. And I don't judge people for that. It just is the way it is. It's just what I've seen in my child and what I'm going to implement in my home. Now, number two. Number two is going to be diet. Once I found out that my child has ADHD, because we haven't gotten a diagnosis, but once he got kicked out, I know my husband's family runs with ADHD, and it's not normal to get kicked out of preschool. It's very likely that he does have ADHD like his father. So once we find that out, and I immediately knew that I didn't want to medicate right away, I wanted to try other things first, we overhauled our diet. The diet has been a big change. So we cut out sugar. When sugar, I mean added sugar specifically. We cut it completely out. We cut it out most, if not all, gluten, dairy, and artificial food dyes and flavors. And I have seen such a calmness in my child that now I am not afraid to say no. I just think, am I going to be taking a part of their childhood? It's honestly not even that hard. I don't feel at all like I'm taking a part of their childhood or anything or depriving them. My kids, all they eat now during the day for snacks is fruit. That's not depriving. Fruit is delicious. They love watermelon, which is super sweet, and melon, and they love that stuff. So no, they're not being deprived. Also, even bread, we found that there's gluten-free bread, gluten-free tortillas, dairy-free milk, dairy-free cheese. So they don't even know what's going on because they don't know the difference. Milk is the one thing that they miss a little bit. but it's okay. So the way I get around that, shakes for them with banana instead of giving them just the milk. I'm like, let's have banana milk. And they love that. And they don't feel like they're missing out on the milk at all. They feel like they get to have banana milk. So that's a tip if you decide to do that. But yeah, these are the diet changes that we made. And I have seen a huge, tremendous change in my child. It's making it much more pleasant for me to be with him all day. I love my child. I've always loved being around him. But it was tough. It was tough. Okay? If you have an ADHD child, I know you understand that they can be a lot because I'm the hyperactive, so I don't have the energy to keep up with him. And that, along with a 1 year old and a 2 year old, it was really tough. There were some days that I just was like, oh my God, I need help. And that's okay. I'm going to give myself the grace to be able to say that. But now that he's a little bit calmer, that he's able to listen to directions better, I feel so much more at ease watching him throughout the day. I've even been reconsidering maybe doing homeschool for him, which I'd love to do. And especially with his situation, maybe he might need that. But that was a thought that before seemed so far to me because I could barely keep my sanity, to be honest. Now, the third change that I've done is this is specifically for getting him to focus. So if there's like a task that I want him to focus. So for example, I've been wanting to work with him on like learning letters and numbers. So what I've been doing to help him focus, because focusing, like I said, something that just doesn't come easy to my child. So what I've been doing is I've been getting them active and moving. I've been, for example, first thing in the morning, one of the things I like to do is try to take them out for a walk. As a family, just a slow walk, not even that far, just as far as that we can, and then turn around. But that walk, I don't know how it works, but I know it works. It gets him moving and gets his body going, and it gets him a little tired. And by the time we come home, his energy's kind of been somewhat exhausted. Somewhat. And he's able to focus a lot more on the sit down activities that I want to do with him, whether it be him working on some art project and that has been so nice. Now, a special tip for you is going to be if you don't know what to do with them sometimes, or maybe you don't have the ability to go outside as much or go to the park because there's always days that you can't necessarily take them to the park. There's some days that you're not gonna be able to go for a walk, but you still want to get them moving. I highly encourage you to look up Flores Lava videos or even freestands videos on YouTube. Those are so much for the kids. Those are so much fun for the kids. The kids are gonna love them. It's gonna get them moving. And it's a fun family activity that you can actually do with them. They're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. And I like to do it with them because the kids enjoy it so much more. But it also gets me moving and it's play. Sometimes as moms, we forget to play. I definitely do. I forget to play a lot and it's really been a way for me to loosen up and just enjoy the moment with my children while also helping them get their little wiggles out, right? Their little energy out and getting them moving. And like I said, I especially like to do that before we're about to do some kind of learning activity or any kind of activity where I want them to sit down and focus quietly for a couple minutes. So I highly encourage you to do those. Try those three things if you also have a child that is just very high energy. I think those three things are going to be great, especially if you suspect your child of ADHD. I highly encourage you, especially the TB and the sugar. But the third as well, getting them moving, getting them active, especially, is those three combined just made a world of a difference in our lives and in my child's lives. And they've honestly given me so much hope for the future, whether I homeschool them, whether I send them to school, whatever the future may bring. I just feel so much more hope knowing that it's going to be okay. And we're going to keep finding more tools to help my child focus and to help him deal with this challenge in his life. Let me know below if you've tried anything and you've seen it make big changes in your child's behavior. And I'll see you next time.